Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Turford, and today is Monday, and you know what that means? Another Let's Play right here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford. Today, just like last Monday, we're playing The Division. Now, in case you guys didn't realize, last time I played, I was only a few levels in, hadn't played a lot of the game so far, I hadn't really dug into it too deeply. However, we're level 25 now, because the week's passed, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think that it's a pretty solid game. I know I was a little bit skeptical about it going in. Didn't really know how it was going to pan out after the beta, but I've been pretty impressed with it so far. So again, if you like this video, like, subscribe, share with all your friends, all that good stuff. I put up new videos generally every day, depending on my work schedule and other life events and other things that might happen to get in the way of that. So we're going to switch over to The Division now. Basically, we, since last we spoke, basically, like I said, I'm level 25 now. I'm going to show you the build that I'm working with as well as some of the weapons we have to work with. Again, it's very similar to the build I showed off last time, but for the most part, I've been playing by myself. I've been soloing most of the missions. I've jumped into a group already, but I try to stay away from groups, especially unless you're really playing with friends. It's sort of tough to coordinate a lot of things, which is why I usually don't jump into matchmaking that often. So basically, the three abilities I outlined last time, well, the two abilities I outlined were First Aid and Turret. We're still using those abilities because they are very, very handy. But we basically have all the abilities unlocked except for Recovery Link, which is the really big medical ability. But since last time, we've also unlocked our big cooldown, our really big cooldown ability that is basically triggered by left and right bumper at the same time, very similarly to like the overdrive you get in Destiny. So basically, we have the choice between Tactical Link, which increases our damage and critical rate, hit rate, or we can go to Survivor Link, which basically allows us to shield ourselves and our allies, if we have allies, as well as it allows us to run faster. So there's that. I usually go with Tactical Link because it does help with the larger mobs, such as the named boss enemies, as well as any of the yellow enemies, for example. They can be really tough, especially if you're lower gear than them. Recovery Link I'm very excited to try out, though, because I like the idea of it. Where basically it heals and cures all nearby abilities and revives allies, but also allows you to overheal, which basically what that means is it goes over your health, and then sort of it dwindles down, very similarly to the Overshield from Halo, if you guys have played Halo. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about real quick with skills is I have First Aid and I have Turret, but you'll notice that the icons are different on them. That is because I've unlocked skill modifications for them by doing research at the base of operations that we showed off last time. So basically for Turret, right now I'm using Zapper. You can basically choose between any one of these three, but I go with Zapper. Zapper, what it does is it shoots electronic darts on enemies and shocks them, which basically causes them to stand still for a few seconds, so it sort of freezes them in place. It's very good for enemies going out of cover and moving between cover, because what it'll basically do is the turret will hit them, they'll basically freeze, which will give you an open shot at them. The Dragon Breath one is reduced range and shoots a short column of fire. Very, very powerful. But the problem is the range is not very there, but it is very, very, very useful against larger enemies because the shock doesn't really have a lot of effect on bosses. So that's the reason why you'll probably see me switch that during the middle of the mission that we're going to go attempt. And last but not least, Active Sensor basically paints the targets on the enemies that we're fighting. Like any enemy that it shoots, it'll paint a target on, which is very, very useful if you are in a group. So if we were in a group, that would actually be the option I'd choose. But since we're soloing, that's why we're going to choose Zapper. At least for right now. We'll probably switch that later when we start fighting more bosses. And then for First Aid, we have three different choices. But for the most part, there's really only one choice if we're sort of soloing. So the version I have set up is Overdose, which basically increases the amount that it heals, but also very similarly to the medical link, basically it'll overheal us. So it has the ability basically to overheal now, which gives us a little bit of a health buffer. Defibrillator is good if you want to basically revive enemies. Again, very, very useful if you're in a group. So if you're in a coordinated group and you want someone dedicated to being the healer, this is the type of skill you want. And then Booster Shot basically increases the damage on any character that's been healed. Again, I still think that that's probably more useful in a group. We could see situations where we could use it on our own, but it's the chances of us actually using it for that added boost of damage probably is very unlikely. So that's sort of where we're at with my character. Of course, at this point, we have basically all blues at this point. We'll sometimes get greens that will be more powerful than we have. We just happen to be at a point where we happen to have blues on all of our items. Not only that, but some of our equipment is moddable, so you can actually equip mods to different pieces of equipment. For example, I noticed that piece that I had there did not have a mod on it, so we just threw a mod on it real quick. And then, of course, our guns are very similar. I'm using a classic AK-47. It's very classic. Basically, it's our assault rifle, because if you remember last time, I'm very much in the camp of assault rifles and sniper rifles. That's sort of the track I go with, and then usually a pistol or an automatic shotgun. I still have the level 5 side shotgun, basically, because I like the idea of it. Although we haven't, as you can tell, we've been very, very short on our sort of sidearm selection. Although I'm actually going to strip this weapon. Maybe what we'll do is we'll try... I'm going to see what I can add to this gun. I don't think we can really add a whole lot. We can really only add to the muzzle, and we don't even really have anything we can add to it. So this weapon, this level 11 weapon, is still actually better because we can actually mod it. So we can increase the rate of fire. Again, we can't really use the muzzle because we really don't have a whole lot at the moment. The Defiler shotgun is actually really awesome. And I'm actually surprised I'm not using it. But we're going to use the pistol for right now. You might see me switch a little bit later if I feel like we're having a little bit of trouble. We're in a lot of close encounters. It's very good for close encounters. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do the Queen's Tunnel Camp mission. First of all, if you don't want to know anything about the story, or if you're sort of wary of spoilers, stop watching the video now and come back later when you are ready to watch it. For the most part, we are pretty late in the game. If I go to the map here, we really have 4 missions before the end of the game, before we finished all the missions. We've got one here in the Queen's Tunnel Camp, and then we've got here in one in Grand Central Station, and then last but not least, we've got one in the Russian Consulate, which sort of, the Russian Consulate mission basically leads into the final mission. So for the most part, once we complete this mission, it's sort of, the final mission will appear on the map, and then we'll go do it. And the final mission, from what I've seen, is actually really, really, really cool. But I will not ruin the surprise for you guys. I'd love for you guys to go play it for yourself. Which is the main reason why we're sort of doing missions before the end of the game, but still not going back and doing some of the early ones. I do plan to show off some of the earlier missions when we get to hard mode, which happens when we get to level 30. I mean, we couldn't do hard mode before then, but it's very annoying to do if we're not level 30. So we'll start doing those in groups and things like that, and I'd love to do Let's Plays of those. And if you guys are interested, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. So we took a bit of fall damage there on purpose, just to sort of avoid that giant clump of troops over there. I really just want to stay away from them since we're starting a new mission. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to invade this base. Now we're dealing with a different faction this time. They're called the LMB. They're basically like private military contractors that are sort of, basically, they were brought in at the beginning of the outbreak to protect basically the rich people. But then they basically got stuck in New York. So they actually are stuck here just like everyone else, and basically sort of carved out a little nest for themselves. It looks like that outbreak of enemies over there is sort of starting to creep its way this way, so we want to sort of get behind that turret as quickly as possible. So there's a turret here, so what we want to do is sort of get behind cover and then sort of sneak around behind it. We want to disable... This is the very first mission, though, where we've actually dealt with turrets. I've seen them inside missions before, but I've never actually seen one in an actual mission itself. So it's now telling us to secure the area, but first, I see a crashed drone up there. We're going to shoot it down. The crashed drones are a collectible set of collectibles throughout the game, but I have no idea how the hell we get up there, because there's a way to get down, but we probably have to find a way to get into the apartment building that happens to be here. So I'm assuming we hop on this truck. No, it doesn't look like it's going to work. It's probably way too roundabout, so I'm going to come back for that later. I sort of have that marked on my map. Once you actually see a collectible on the map, it's sort of marked on your map the whole time. So we basically just walked to do a bunch of enemies there, like a dummy, as well as another turret. We just want to sort of stay behind cover. I just threw my turret out there sort of to distract the enemies while we got into cover. So it looks like this guy is trying to be very sneaky and sneak around this truck in order to get us. Oh, actually, he's going to the outpost up there. So we want to sort of take him out first, because he's going to shoot us in the back, or some more guys snuck around. So once again, we were sort of dummies there. We'll just respawn it and jump back into it again. The respawning is very, very quick in this game, especially in the no respawning zones, which are very similarly to like the darkness zones in Destiny missions. They're basically, you basically will restart at a checkpoint, and you can't really respawn any further into the mission. Basically, that'll indicate to us that a boss is on the way. So we sort of got to take all these guys out. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the AK. I don't like how unstable its shots are. But I do prefer it over a lot of the SMGs, especially the SMGs we found. I wasn't aware we were actually gonna fall down there. Alright, so we gotta sort of avoid this turret. So if we sneak around the side here, I believe we should be able to, well, we can't hop over that cover. So it's just like when you see a really tiny fence and you're like, you know, I don't think I can hop over that little tiny fence. I'll just stand there like a ninny. So that's sort of what we did there. We're going to sort of climb behind this truck. I think we're behind it. So let's run through the tunnel and hope the turret doesn't shoot us, because that would make me sad. So the LMB guys are more tactically equipped than the other two factions, the Rikers and the Cleaners. The Rikers just being sort of like a street gang, and then the Cleaners, which we saw last time, are the dudes with the flamethrowers. And they're sort of out of the three factions, I think the LMB are probably the toughest to deal with. They're probably the most like organized AIs that you'll run into as well. They'll very much use group dynamics in order to try and flush you out. So you don't want to run into a giant group of them if you don't have to. I have a feeling we were going to startle these guys anyways. Ooh, there's a yellow enemy, so we got to sort of watch how we're going out of cover and sort of how we're exposing ourselves with this guy. We're sort of right up here, and maybe this will give us sort of an advantage. Again, this game is very much about getting strategic advantage as far as both your playing field, but also sort of using certain tactics to sort of outwit your enemies. It's less strategically sound than something like Ghost Recon, but that's actually one of the things I like about this game, is that it's not like too much of a sim, but it's also, you have to think more than something like Destiny in some of the missions anyways. And of course, basically that yellow enemy, which stands for an elite enemy, is not named, but he still does a ton of damage. And even if we're over cover for like half a second, even though we have like very, very, very good gear for this level, like we're actually at a higher level both in gear and level than this area. But those elite enemies still deal a ton of damage.
The relay's got to be on the roof. Probably gonna have some techie types up there to keep it running.
He's talking about combat engineers.
So let me do this. I think what we want to do is we want to hop up here and sort of get the jump on them and sort of ambush them, rather than have them attack us. Oh, Jesus. I don't even know where I'm getting shot. Oh, there's someone on the roof. Damn it. That's very annoying. let's sort of do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw our turret out. Use a med pack. Again, there's a frickin' I didn't even see the sniper on the roof the last time, so that's sort of where our problem is. So we keep dying here. I apologize for that, but again, those snipers do a ton of damage. I think maybe what we want to do is actually run inside the building and maybe run around to the roof before we sort of engage those enemies on the side there. Maybe that's probably our best course of action. Unfortunately, there isn't really a good way of being stealthy in this game, and that's sort of one of my big criticisms with The Division, is I kind of wish there was like a stealthy option, very similarly to all of Ubisoft's other games. Like Far Cry Primal, for example, is a game I've been enjoying a lot lately. It is a game that you can be very stealthy, and you don't really have to go in guns blazing. I mean, you don't have guns in that game anyways, but I do like the fact that there is the option for stealth, whereas in this, you're really sort of, once they see you, that's it. Or once you take a shot, period, that's basically it. And you have melee in this game, but it is very, it's not very powerful at all. In fact, a lot of times, you'll barely even see me use it. Not necessarily because, not just because it's weak, but because you don't have a lot of close encounters in this game. Because of the fact that you can't really be stealthy. We want to sort of take this turret out. We just don't want to deal with that anymore. So, we're going to disable the communication systems, and then I think we should be able to attack those guys down there. I think sort of, this was probably the route we were supposed to go down. But unfortunately, we were attacked the first time, which made me think, hey, this is what we're supposed to do, when in fact it was not. So, security area. So let's see if we can snipe some of these guys from the roof. Unfortunately, there really is no cover over the balcony, but we can sort of like dodge and weave through, basically using the guardrail there. So again, there's a ton of grenades. They can't really hit us if we can't see them. They won't be able to see us or shoot us. Let's see. So the plan's not working out too well. Let's see if we can sort of get an advantage by going over here. Alright, so let's see if we can see this enemy. Again, our sniper rifle, very powerful, but it only shoots very limited rounds. It really only has 5 before we have to reload. And even headshots in this game are not one-hit kills. It's not something like Ghost Recon, for example, where headshots really do mean a lot. I mean, if you get shot in the head, usually you're dead in real life, one would assume. But not in this game. So we took them out pretty quickly. Again, our sniper rifle is our best friend, especially with this restock here. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of throw my turret over the balcony. That should get this guy out of cover. And get him sort of distracted by us. And then what we can do is we can sort of take him out that way. So we see his feet here. We can just take him out of the ankles until he decides to actually do something. Although maybe he's stuck, because he's behaving in a way that I was not really expecting him to behave, in the sense that he is just standing there and just taking it like a man, I guess. So our turret, we didn't even need to use our turret. I think he actually is stuck, or was stuck. Boom. Got him. Alright, so we're going to quickly restock, because we use a large portion of our sniper rifle bullets. And now we should be able to go down, because, yeah, the turret server room is down there. So let's run all the way back to the ladder, and then sort of slide down. Fun fact, I didn't even realize this until I did it accidentally. If you press the run button while you're on the ladder, the run button is pressing down, pressing in on the left trigger, like the left analog stick. It'll allow you to slide down. The game never really tells you that, but I just thought it's funny that I just did it accidentally one day and I just slid really, really, really fast. Alright, so if we go this way, you'll notice in our map, our mini map, that there are some icons over here. One of those icons basically indicates an item cache. So there we got a green item, a reinforced holster. I believe it's only saying that it's got better stats because of just the armor boost, which actually isn't really. Let's see, they're pretty close, but we don't really use sticky bomb. Whereas we've got 5% skill haste. I think that's actually probably a better trade-off than sort of going with this, despite the fact that it basically just has 20 armor as well. Again, we don't use a ton of skill powers anyways. Like our turret our turret's damage basically is sort of measured by our skill power, and likewise the amount of health that we heal using our first aid is affected by skill power. But for the most part, we don't use a ton of things that really utilize it. If we were in a group and like I was the DPS or a healer type, then I would actually probably heavily invest in skill power. But for the most part, that's not what we're trying to do here. We want to sort of be all-purpose. And if anything, stamina actually means a lot to us, but we're not going to sort of go down that road just yet. So the main reason why we were taking so much damage from that one guy there is because there is another turret down here that's sort of popping shots at us. Unfortunately, we really have to go from cover to cover trying to avoid it. There we go. So we can sort of run to this cover. And then we should be able to run to the truck, like the Jeep here, and then be able to disable the turret. Boom. Turret down. Again, the LMB is really the only faction that uses turrets. So you don't really have to deal with them like the station tournament turrets if you're dealing with the Rikers or the cleaners. So it looks like there's another item cache over here, as well as a locked door. Now, the way to open locked doors is you will pick up lockpicks as you progress through the game, but they are very limited. That said, you don't use them a ton. From what I hear, when you hit level 30, you really just need sort of the ones in the dark zone that you get from there. But those are the only ones you really need. You don't need a ton that are in the environment. So if we see a locked door, we generally use it. So we got another holster, but this time it's blue, and it had some extra stats. So let's check out what it says. So it's a Ranger holster. It gives us way more armor, which is good. We weren't really overly great about that, but, you know, it's good. You also get way more firearms, so we'll deal more damage. We'll have way less health. We'll lose 4,000 health, which, while it seems like a lot, isn't actually a huge amount at this level. But then our skill power will go up. Again, we'll have... What is with these with sticky bomb damage? I think this one's probably better for us soloing, though. We'll take a little bit less damage. I'm going to keep the other one, though. I'm not going to dismantle it just yet. The reason why you'll actually see me dismantle items rather than sell items is a lot of people who are newer to like MMO type games like The Division or Destiny don't always realize when you sell back items to vendors that crafting is a big component of a lot of these games. It isn't necessarily for a game like... It's less so for a game like Destiny, but more so for a game like The Division, because you'll get some really good item recipes later on in the game that will help you get your gear at level 30. So we're going to pick up some stuff again. The reason why items are just dropping to the ground is because we do have like our maximum food rations for the most part. Like our consumables are pretty much all maxed out at this point. I don't really use them too often. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off this turret first. I think that it's that one that we just saw in the tunnel. Then we'll use the restock here, which I'm assuming means there's a lot of guys coming up. In fact, I see a laser from a turret over there, so we probably don't want to run out there just yet. Alright, so there's a guy there and a turret. Oh, Well, the turret's facing in the opposite direction, so it shouldn't be that bad. So we're going to just sort of take a lot of these guys out. If we die here, maybe what we'll do is we'll switch to sort of our shotgun offhand, because I think if we're going to die, it'll probably be because it looks like there are some crazy close encounters in this particular area. And holy crap, let's actually run out. And then they'll follow us into the tunnel. This will give us sort of a leg up on these guys. And basically, sort of, so we can funnel them through this door. It's a lot better of a position than being in that room, which seems like it'd be very annoying. So we can throw our turret. Again, it doesn't seem like they were very happy to see my turret. So when he pops his head up... Ah, shit, he had a turret of his own over there. There you go, so the shock at work there. That guy probably would have been able to kill us had we not had the shock utility utilized on him to just sort of freeze him in place. So he was sort of easy pickings for us. Alright, so there we go. So we sort of follow them through the door there. I think there's still their turret left. I don't know what else is there. Oh, it looks like there's some more guys coming in. Again, I'm hoping that big turret isn't able to sort of turn around and see us. I'm kind of hoping this guy will come out of cover at some point. Maybe I'll just fire a warning shot. Then we'll reload in the open. Sometimes reloading in the open is actually a good thing, because it will sometimes sort of force enemies to take action. There we go. So we're going to throw a grenade. There we go. So he's sort of running away from his position there. Yeah, it doesn't look like the turret can turn around and see us. We just don't want to go like too far away from this area because I fear that it will be able to hit us. Boom. Headshot. Alright, so on our way to locating the server room, I'm going to quickly restock since it's here. And then I kind of want to find the panel. I think this is it for the turret. Because I don't want to walk into that accidentally. That might seem like it would be annoying. Especially because it doesn't look like we have a ton of wiggle room down here. So my guess is when I activate this, more enemies are going to come. So I'm actually going to switch things up here. We're going to switch to the Defiler. And then... we're going to switch our abilities. I think we're going to switch from the Zapper to Dragon Breath.
Initiating data hardwired.
By the way, I love the fact that they actually copied like the Windows blue screen of death onto a lot of these computers.
Overheating CPU. Disabling cooling mechanisms. Sequence complete. Server data.
Alright, so it's overloading the servers. I still think that they're just going to pile out of that elevator, so I kind of just want to... Oh, Jesus, they're going to come from there. Alright, so let's sort of run back the opposite direction. Again, we do not want to be there when they come down. Especially because I am assuming that there are going to be named enemies. Or maybe not. Maybe they're not coming down. Maybe we have to go up there and go say hello to them. This could be very annoying because I'm assuming they're probably all waiting on the end here by the elevator. Or no, they're still upstairs. Okay.
Here's the thing. You're right on top of that weapons cache. Once you kick in the door, you're on your own.
Oh, geez. JTF backup. Thanks, guy. By the way, the JTF are like the most useless frickin' organization in the world. They are not very good at doing their jobs. Which is why why New York has sort of gone to hell. So there are some turrets down there. I am not liking the looks of things. We're going to get the party started. I'm going to throw a Dragon Breath turret right next to them. Shit, there's a marksman. I gotta watch where that person's going. Alright, so let's wait for them to come out of cover. So start JTF assault, no respawn zone. You know what this means. There is a boss battle upcoming. I'm assuming we're gonna have to deal with fucking waves and waves of these guys. Of course, since the GTF are a completely useless bunch of characters, they're probably not going to be much help. So we're gonna sort of have to do this on our own. I'm a little wary as to how this is going to work, because with those doors, those like very painted looking doors, that's usually where enemies spawn from, and I see multiple ones around this area, generally around all the cover. So I am not liking the signs of these things. Shit. We got killed. That dude had a shotgun. That makes me sad. Our shotgun pistol did not do a ton of damage. I was kind of hoping it would actually deal a little bit more damage. But for the most part, it looks like our sidearms, we sort of have to abandon them at this point until we get a better one. Because it doesn't... The item drops are very, very random in this game. As they sort of should, because it is an MMO. But I kind of wish there was like... I've gotten 3 sidearms the whole game, and like for the most part at this point in the game, even like the level 16 one, it's still pretty useless, and it's still like 10 levels below the level I'm at. As I mentioned, those are sort of boss door. Creature doors. So for the most part, we want to sort of dance around them essentially. That said, we could probably like. Whenever I think that more enemies will spawn out of, like, this door over here, we can always just drop, like, a Dragon Breath turret or something. Which is the main reason why I'm sort of sticking with that ability. I feel like, despite the fact that there are large open areas here, I think it might actually come in handy. Because there are a lot of closed corridors here. Despite the fact that it is a big open area. By the way, there's a blue item down there. We're probably going to... go for it, especially because that dude was sort of just standing on top of a box. We don't have to worry about dudes who are standing on top of boxes. It looks like that's a weapon, but we're not going to want to use it just yet. So I'm going to sort of... Oh, shit, you can't even get behind this cover. Well, that's kind of dumb. I don't like the inconsistency of objects you can actually hide behind in this game. Because there are a lot of objects or things that look like they could be cover in the environment, that because they're not like a set up as a cover item, you can't actually use them as cover. Which can be very, very annoying. And there's no crouch button, so it's not like we can just crouch behind it and sort of get an advantage that way. As you can see, the health, the first aid ability, very, very, very handy. When you're playing by yourself, especially because it sort of keeps us out of trouble. Especially because med packs aren't really that great.
Additional hostiles inbound.
At least I don't think so. Anyways, I don't think the med packs do heal a ton, and you only get so many of them, and you can only refill them either by enemies that drop them, but then also at your base of operations, or like a safe house or something. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that there is like no cover where I can actually shoot these guys from. Like, we can hide behind those barrels, but for the most part, our window for being able to shoot enemies is very, very limited if we do that. So I'm going to throw a turret that way because it looks like Sergeant King is coming to see us. So I'm going to run away this way. I'm gonna let him come to us. He's an engineer, so he's gonna have his own turrets. He's gonna be very annoying to deal with. He doesn't have a ton of health though, at least. So he's not like some of the armored enemies you saw me face in the last Let's Play. But he can still be pretty annoying. Plus, he has the ability to deal a ton of damage. So we're gonna activate our ability. Again, our crit chance is really high. It should increase our damage. I'm gonna sort of heal up, reload. Bam! We got him with a no-scope headshot with our sniper rifle. So we picked up 3 rare items, because that's what happens when you fight bosses or named enemies. That's usually the response you get in missions. When you're in the Dark Zone and you fight named enemies, you actually only get 2 items. So you do get less items. Alright, so there we go. So we have completed the Queen's Tunnel Camp. I'm going to grab this last blue item. We're going to sort of teleport back to, like, fast travel back to our safe house. Since we don't have to, that way we don't have to run all the way through this level again. And then we'll sort of go through the equipment we have, and then we'll sort of stop the Let's Play. And this level was pretty fun. I don't like the fact that there are monster closets. Monster closets are one of those things that sort of take me away out of an experience, especially in a game like this, which is trying to be realistic. So there is a big takeaway from it, but nevertheless, I still think it was a pretty fun mission. Definitely, I think the LMB enemies are a little bit more fair than some of the cleaner enemies, because the cleaners with the flamethrowers can be very, very annoying or unfair, because I mean the flames can go through cover, and it's kind of difficult to deal with. Okay, so we're gonna refill. Alright, so let's check our inventory. We got a bunch of new things. Let's see. So we got a Ranger holster. This basically helps our ballistic shield ability, which we don't care about. There's an extra mod slot, so I'm guessing you can do 2. Oh, it just has 1 mod, so it only has 1 mod slot. But yeah, I don't really think it's really better than the one we have, because I feel like the armor upgrade is a lot better than ballistic shield, especially since even if we were in a group, I would be very hesitant to use ballistic shield anyways. Like, I don't think it's a super fantastic ability. So we can automatically get rid of these green ones, because they don't look like they have extra. So let's see here. So we got 10% crit damage, which is good. Enemy armor damage, good. Increased heal XP, very good while we're leveling. Once we're not leveling anymore, this ability will be less poignant. And let's see, we got 80 plus 80 armor, which is good. Exotic damage resilience, which is really good. It means that basically the yellow enemies will actually deal less damage to us. Disrupt resistance. So it's a lot of defensive bonuses, but you still get a firearms bonus. So we'll deal more DPS. We'll just lose some skill power. I'm actually probably okay with this exchange, because we're not really in it to win it with skill power at this point. So we could probably sort of switch that out. Maybe I'll hold on to this one just to see if there's any damage. Oh, there's something. Our sidearm flew. Oh my god, we got another sidearm. Thank god. Oh my god. You have no idea how long I've gone without getting an extra sidearm. I'm so happy right now. We can't really mod it, but it on its own, without any mods, is still better than any of the stuff that we have. So I am going to deconstruct those. I'm not actually going to deconstruct the Defiler per se. The main reason for that is you actually don't get anything from deconstructing it, since we got that as part of the Uplay bonus from the Uplay Club, which is a very exciting club that people can join. It's like one of the free things you get from the Uplay Club. So we got some more mods. Cool. We won't really look at them until we're sort of using them with our guns. Let's see what we got for new guns. So we got a military P416, and we got a tactical shotgun, which I'm not a big fan of, and I'm not really a big fan of the SMGs. So basically we're going to actually just deconstruct all of this stuff. I'm going to sort of toy around with SMGs when we get to level 30, but for right now, I'm sort of out of it. So what I'm going to do maybe is because I'm not a huge fan of the AK, is maybe what we're going to do is we're going to strip this weapon of all the mods. So the DPS is about the same, but that's not where I'm looking at. So balanced, this weapon reaches max accuracy faster when shouldering, which is very good since we shoulder a lot, especially with an assault rifle. Whereas this one is sort of accuracy increase as well, but I feel like the stability is sort of all over the place. We do get some increased stability, less accuracy, but better reload speed. I'm still on the fence about this, but I think we're going to try it, because I don't think I've ever used one of the P416s before. So we're going to just use the same mods we used before. Iron sights basically give us headshot damage, which is good, and optimal range, so we have more range, essentially. And then we'll use the small grip, which gives us even more accuracy. It gives us better hip fire, but that just comes with any of the grips, and we don't really use hip fire that often. And then we'll use the compensator for horizontal stability. So once again, adding more stability to the weapon so it will bounce less. Basically, the other suppressors, like the silencers, are mostly just used for if you're in a group and you want to basically not be the tank, if you want to sort of reduce your threat to the enemies. That's what they're used for. I kind of wish you could use them in stealth situations, which would give us sort of more of an incentive to use them, but unfortunately we can't really use that. And then last but not least, these look exactly the same, except we can choose between magazine size and rate of fire. Rate of fire, I don't think we need a ton of. I think it probably is better for us if we use the high velocity magazine, which again gives us 4% critical chance, which is very good. We'd get it on both sides, but then give us way more bullets to work with, so we don't have to worry less about finding ammo. So we're going to sort of switch that, and as you can see, the DPS goes way up. So I'm going to keep the AK just in case something happens, or if we decide to sort of switch off, like if we don't like this gun or something, we can sort of stop that. Alright, so that's going to do it for this Division Let's Play. What do you think about my Division Let's Plays? Do you want to see me do more? Do you maybe want to see me sort of focus on this game when I hit level 30? Let me know in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Ryan Turford, that's Turford. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ryan Turford. Last but not least, you can find me on the Game Moose podcast. I co-host it every single week with Drew McMillan. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Game Moose podcast. You can also find us on on www.talkamoose.com. Too many T's on the websites. Last but not least, you can find us on iTunes. Just search for Game Moose on iTunes and it should come up right away. Anyways, that's going to do it for this Division Let's Play. I'm Ryan Turford, and I'm out.